That's nice.
Stand by, guys.
Okay.
Okay.
Right there.
Grandpa, we're in a meeting.
Hi, Stan.
Hi, Stan.
Hi, Stan. Hi, Stan.
Hey,
Look at you guys all bundled up. How cute. Hey, Stan. Hi, Grandpa. Where are you, Lex? Chelsea?
Oh, we just got back visiting my mother in the hospital, so we're sitting in my garage.
Okay, how's she doing?
Better.
Okay, good.
So Gordy's on his way home from work, and he'll help me he should be here in a minute, and I'll just wait for him to get Grandpa out of the car.
I gotcha. We're following. Hi, everyone. Okay, I just have to say, Katerina, that is the most amazing piece of art. And Charles shared it with me, and it's beautiful.
we love it.
We love it. We love the whole way that it developed, and we're so proud of you. When are you getting your gallery show going? It's time.
Well, I'll start with the shop that will show them. Let's see how that goes.
Okay. Okay. It's just so great. So super great what's happening with all that. Love it.
me
Okay. So where shall we begin? Sorry for our lateness. We have Cease, honey, will you do me a favor? Our session time between our debriefs and coming into this is just, it's too short. We're not doing well with that. So this won't happen again, but just so you know, it's bumping up against into our debriefs, and that's why we're running late, both of us.
Okay.
Yeah, so we may need to move this another 15 minutes later
Yeah.
or something. And so because of timing and appointments of everything, let's talk and address everyone who's here and the people who aren't here. We had this conversation last time. If we're here, we're talking with you. If we're not here, we don't need to get into conversation about them. Okay, they'll join us when they're ready, and that's when we'll all catch up.
So my suggestion is we start with Chelsea
Sure.
because she's going to be getting her grandfather out.
Okay. Let's
So
start with you, Chelsea, what's going on?
Oh, just everyday life.
Now it's hard to see who's in the car with you.
Stan.
Oh,
What
there
the
we
hell?
I can't see. You
We
have
were
a
just talking
Jabusi
about
is a different angle. I was going to,
Yeah.
there you are. Hey, Stan.
We just, yeah, I didn't know if we'd get in the car today, but my mother's in the hospital up here in Boise, and my sister was coming in from out of town, and I just ran up there we haven't spoken to a doctor in a few days, but so it was a
Okay.
good field trip.
Okay. And when
So
you
how-
say everyday life, what is there anything in particular you want to explore with us or any of your friends here?
No, I really feel I'm in a good place.
Yeah.
And happy, and definitely a different place than I was a year ago, and yeah.
You are sharing that with all of us too, in such a meaningful way. Chelsea, I really want you to know how deeply you are, you're touching my life. And I've heard from many sort of different conversations. So keep sharing how this innate glimpsing is happening for you, and where that happiness in a more constant, uninterrupted way is.
Yeah.
It's great. Super
Yeah.
great. Yeah. Okay, good. Who else wants to chat?
so Chelsea, how is your grandpa doing?
Good.
He's smiling.
Just, it is what it is, but it's been a week since he had gotten into the car, and I didn't know for sure if he was able to get in, but he's in. So it was a nice little field trip, and he'll probably have a nice nap today, you know, from all the
Yeah.
excitement of the morning. So
Is he recognizing everything? Knowing who's who?
yeah, he's a little nonverbal, but
Okay.
yeah,
He's got a nice smile on his face.
Yeah.
yeah. He understood a second ago when I said we're in a meeting, and yeah.
Cute. Super cute.
I think
So
it's so
I just
amazing that your grandpa
Katarina.
has
Yeah,
lived for
yeah.
more than 100 years. I just can't grasp it.
Yeah,
It's more than double my age.
I know. We're up in the hospital room and somebody walked in, they're like, do you need help getting the patient back in the bed? Because my mother was getting a test done, and I was like, no, this is the father of the patient. He's fine. Yep. So Katarina, is that painting completely done?
Yeah,
Finished? Okay, good.
I learned
Yeah,
something
it is
about
beautiful.
my artistic process that I had or have 3 weeks of vacation. This is my last week. And my main plan was when Eric's with his dad, I'm going to be painting. And I have all these ideas in my head that I want to get out, but I just recognized it's not something you can, produce. It's a process, and it's so intense, and it goes with so much inner change and experience that you can't rush it. So
Mhm.
I finished this one, and that was huge because it's been over like 6 months that I've been working on this.
Yeah.
And the other ones, little by little, it'll come. And I wanna, for this year, I really wanna learn to use, like when I have a half hour free, or when I have a couple hours that I have a babysitter, to be able to get into this inner space or inner awareness where I can paint. And I think that it's probably more of an attitude thing, because I just kept telling myself, I can't do this, I need a lot of time. And now I had a lot of time and I didn't paint more either. So yeah.
I hate to admit that I can absolutely identify with that. When I was trying to do writing at different times over the years for this book, it's like I know that some people can get into an elevator and write, the angels told me this, the angels told me that. Before they get off at the top floor of the building, they've got a new book, which also reads like that's their new book, but that's how they do it. For me, I've got to sit and think and find the words, and I need space without thinking that an alarm is going to go off in 32 minutes, and that's all the time I have. So I can't do it unless I open up to a whole lot of time and space. But then when I do that, I also feel what's looming or coming, and I can't always find that freedom in which to do it. So it's sort of like that, I guess what people talk about as writer's block or artist block, is as you're sharing, and there's a moment. And when that moment happens, when I wake up in that moment, I can do it right then. But if I feel that I've got to do this, that, or the other first, when I come back to it, I'm not there again. It's just one of those things. So I don't know if that's exactly what you're describing, but
It's very similar.
Katarina, one of the things that was really helpful for me while we were writing the book was, because I'm not someone who sits down and says I'm going to write. It's coming all the time in these sort of fits and starts. And I just started using notes on my iPhone. Like something would come in. Sometimes it was like an incoherent 1 or 2 sentences. But a lot of the poems in the new book and a lot of the way some of the phraseology came about was really just notes that it would come. Even if I had to pull over to the side of the road for a minute, I just pop it into notes and keep going. Pop it into notes and keep going. Pop it. You're with Eric and he's in something, but something comes, you just pop it into notes and go right back to him.
Or I'm lying down in the middle of the night, and something comes to me. I have to just I have to start punching it right into notes, right then and there. And maybe you just have to, play with your visuals when it comes, and it may be in the middle of the night. And it may be that Eric's in the middle of something.
Anyway, it's
Well-
gorgeous. It's beautiful.
It is so beautiful.
And it looked like an unfolding. And so, on to the next one.
Yeah. Well, I do love the process, and I really have this feeling that there's like a huge shift happening like within me. For example, I went to the opera a few days back with my uncle, and it was Tosca Puccini, so quite heavy. Everybody dies at the end, but it's beautiful music. And as I was sitting in the opera, I recognized how, like, even just being in the building, it's like 150 years old or something. So it's like this heaviness, the energy of the building, of just being there, this, like the tradition of going to the opera. And so it was such a heavy energy. And it wasn't like I wasn't suffering of it. I just recognized that this used to be me. Like I used to do this and I used to fit in with this energy. And now I could feel like how much lighter my energy is and how much more expanded my sense of I didn't, like, the way I perceived this was so different, and I still enjoyed it. And I used to, maybe a few years back, I would have had suffered because it was so negative, like everything that happened, because I really do feel very intensely. And now I could experience it, and it took me a few hours to get over being in, oh my God, everybody died, and the tragedy of it. But the light is always there. And it made me recognize how much I've changed in the last couple of years, maybe, or ever since really I've been with reconnective healing. So
Katarina,
that's
I would-
amazing, really.
I would even suggest that it's a relaxing of your unconscious.
Mhm.
And in the relaxing of that unconscious, the consciousness or the awareness is shining more luminously. I don't even think that it's that your eye is expanding. It's just your eye is more revealed in
Yeah.
exactly where it's always been and always will be, when your unconscious is relaxing. And I think, we can see it all over you. It's just-
But it was just this. I always use the word expansion because it's really a physical sensation that is of space,
Yeah.
of like not being limited, not being stuck, it's really a sensation of space. But it's, and the curious thing is, I guess I've always been that. I just never could see it in that way. And much less when I had input, like this heavy input, And this time it was so different. I just thought, oh my gosh, it's so amazing. And I can watch life change, the way I treat people, the way I treat myself, so many things. So I really want to thank you guys, all of you, to Eric and Jillian, for bringing this forth and always finding new words and new expressions, because the depth of understanding really also comes with the different angles and the words, even though I always say I don't want the words, I just want to be it, but it does open space and an awareness. And
But
to
it
everyone
opens
else for
space.
just sharing this.
It opens space in that perspective. The words open the space once we let the words go. First we see the words, then we let them go. Then we suddenly find what we're calling space, which isn't even the right word, feels more expanded. I really love the way, Jillian, you said it recently about, how was it? About that it's not that consciousness expands as much as it's that, or what relaxes?
our unconscious.
Our unconscious relaxes.
Mhm.
And then it feels like the expansion.
And even scientifically right now, I just read a very interesting study that's coming out of Stanford, where they are looking at what was considered hallucinogenic experiences, be it psilocybin or is it MDA? I forget the name of the drug. It's the one where kids were doing, taking it for,
MDNA.
yes, MDNA for raves and things like this.
Uh.
And basically, they're exploring at a very clinical level what happens when the part of the unconscious is relaxed enough where what they're referring to is the multiverse appears. And why is it that the experiences that people have, love, other beings, all of the things that we've heard, healing, and why is it that there's also all of this sort of crashing and burning? And so what they did was they started to experiment with a intravenous experience with some of these particular hallucinogenics in order to see if they couldn't get the recipients, because the recipients apparently are aware that they're there in the multiverse, to begin to actually create the track, the pathway from where they are back to what we'll call time and space. And it's a very interesting study that's going on, which is, again, another glimpse of this sort of limited way that our 3D reality, which we perceive as everything, even let's just say multidimensional reality, which we perceive as everything, is actually the furthest away we could be from where we actually are, which is why we can't see certain, they're looking at it from the perspective of other intelligent life. Why is it that the endless search for intelligent life, it isn't seen? Well, it isn't seen potentially because we're separated from it. It is. And so they're looking at species. So this is an excellent time for us to begin, especially when it's brief, a brief glimpse in the reconnective healing experience. It's a brief glimpse, but it is an innate relaxing of the unconscious. And I certainly a fuller awareness of what we'll call consciousness while we're playing in it. So more to come, and more for us to continue to really stay so curious about what is being revealed, and how it's being revealed in this way. And Katerina, it's just really magnificent, and we just thank you for sharing it with us. Yeah. So,
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Not to mention, it's a great background. And not to mention, you talked about the lightness and your laugh and your humor. So that's my way of sneaking in a joke, which I'm not supposed to, which is, so why is it that songs in operas are referred to as arias, and when there's songs about death, they're not referred to as diarias? It could be a
I love when you
joke.
sneak in a joke. I don't know who told you you're not supposed to do that, but
No, we didn't. We just said at certain moments in interviews and things, like just write it down and save it over time.
It's in the timing around the opera is shot.
It's a diarrhea, I know.
Funny.
Okay.
So Julie, I hear you're feeling better.
You look good.
Yeah, a lot better. Yeah. Yeah. It was lingering pretty good, but I think I think I'm good. I
didn't
did
mean
want to
that,
say, when you were talking about when you write, for me, before I got involved in being one of the life leaders, I didn't do a lot of writing. Throughout the years, I would write poems, which nobody could see. I mean, I would write a little this and a little that. But what you said about having to sit down and think, one of the reasons that I don't go on camera like mostly everybody else when we do our weekly posts is because I can never get the words out right and I can't think them through and I get flustered. But when I sit down and I stress about it, this is something that ever since I've had to write a post, I stress. I'm better though at it. I'm better at not like getting so stressed out. But I will sit down and like Jillian said, I'll write words. Sometimes I just write words that I like that, you know, will help me to complete an idea, let's say. And but anyway, I don't know if it's the same thing as you, but I need to sit and think about and how I want to write it. And so anyway, I was identifying with that way. And I think that it's allowed me to see a different part of myself, and which I like. And
Tell us
And
about what you like. I want to hear when you say that, and I felt the sense that it's another part of yourself you like. Can you describe that a little bit more?
well, I think that for a lot of my life, felt that I couldn't do things, or I didn't have the faith in myself, or the confidence to do things. And I would every now and then I'd go, you're more than this. You can do so much more. It would be like this sort of epiphany, and then it would leave, And then I go, well, what else could I do? What are my strengths? And I guess in a way, in a little bit, I'm finding those things out. And of course, without being in the Reconnective Healing Life community, I don't think that I would be where I am, And you guys are all, just like love itself. And
Yes.
yeah, so.
And everyone has their own style. I mean, you're sitting now, you could be sitting and talking with the camera, but you could not. You could turn it off. You could have your back towards the camera just so it disappears for you, talk, and then turn around at the end and give a smile. Some people sing from stylized lessons. Other people sing naturally and find that when they take lessons in it, it contracts their singing style. So it's not about doing it the way that others are doing it. It's about what speaks to you, and that's the way for you to present. Maybe someone can't put something up every week, but they do something every once in a while that is gorgeous. Katharina didn't make that painting, a painting like that, every week or two, but then when it comes out, it bursts out with the beauty that's been just warming and coming to the surface on the inside until it was just ready, Julie. So however you do it is beautiful and perfect.
Thanks.
But
Julie's-
I think also, like you said, the confidence,
What? Oh,
the way that you spoke into feeling the confidence is something that the personality aspires up to. I
mhm.
think really what you're describing is the knowingness. There's a knowing that's kind of percolating into the personality. And again, it's sort of that relaxing. Well, I don't know if I can do it. No, I know something.
Mhm.
And that seems to be, in a way, what again may be inspiring the behavior, the activity of confidence. But don't wait for confidence to come about. Get curious about what's resting behind the confidence.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It's a happiness. I see it. I'm watching, Lexi shares some pictures and things that you guys are doing on Discourse. It's just your being. It really is that. And how fortunate you are to be at a time in your life, and your husband at a time in his life where you really can be. That's the gift to everyone around you.
Mm,
The gift to your
mhm.
neighbors. It's the gift to your friends. It's
I really believe, I feel what you say about it's a knowingness, that knowingness that I am so much more. But I did want to segue for a moment because I was thinking about, what's going on here, my life, and since we moved here, and I have to say that Joe has made a big change in ways in our communication and relationship, and it's amazing. So, in a good way. So I just wanted to bring that up.
where do you think that dance is being inspired from? You're sharing your being, not your personality. I mean,
Mhm,
it's the sharing of your being. You're establishing a new love of friendship.
mhm.
And it's happening without you having to do anything. It's
Right.
that's coolest part.
But what you spoke on before, waiting for, what was it? Don't wait for
Confidence.
confidence. Just reminds me of what we spoke about in Solomon yesterday when he said, you mustn't allow your need for further affirmation to prevent you from finding that clearing in the woods.
Right. Mm,
Little by little.
yeah.
It's the best part for you, Jules, is that it's the felt sense of your experience, not something you're trying out in a training or putting into motion with a new practice, or, it's a felt sense. And sometimes that can come with, I can speak for myself, it can come with a myriad of different emotions.
Yeah. Dr. Eric, I just wanted to, you just said little by little, and I have to tell you that my grandfather, who lived till 99, he used to say yiddle by yiddle.
Yiddle by yiddle. Oh, that's a little funny. Actually, Jillian said little by little,
But I didn't say it
Oh,
that.
I thought you said it. Okay.
Most of the time, that's what happens. I speak, but it sounds like Eric.
well, it's gonna be me a little longer today because I'm gonna be here a little longer because Jillian's got timing involved with her next scheduled thing. But I'm here, a little by little.
Little by little.
Julie, can I share your poem that you wrote for us in Discord? Do you remember?
Kind of, yeah, I did write.
You said you wrote it just for Mary,
Beautiful.
and it's called Hoe and Onions. Hoe and
That was
Onions.
beautiful.
Are you putting it in the chat? Oh, who's reading it?
Who's calling Mary a hoe? That's what I want.
Oh my God.
Jules, read it for us. It's
I
in the-
said, I have written a poem, Mary, just for you. It's called Hoe and Onions. Hoe and Onions. With hoe in hand, I toil. I work the hard ground and turn the soil. I'm not thinking at all as I move my body, suddenly aroused by a raven's call. I look up, the sky is vast. I take a breath and get back to my task. With hoe in hand, I work and weed, turning the soil and onion seed. Behold an onion, I say. This discovery has made my day. As the hour draws on scraping and digging the earth, I feel elated about what I've accomplished, and I'm full of mirth. I hold the hoe in my hand and wonder at all the many things there are in this land to ponder. I am so blessed to be here below the beautiful sky and know I am without having to ask why.
Oh,
It's so beautiful.
Yes.
look at what is happening here. Retreats and the expansion into touching everybody's nature and art and poetry. I am blown away. I'm so madly in love with you guys. It's stupid. Oh,
Love is never stupid.
Well, you didn't know me when.
I know you now, Mary. We don't need to know you when. We need to
Okay.
know you, we need to know you here.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. I'm better now.
You were always good.
I was,
Now
I was
you're better.
I was good, but I was stupid. So
Good too.
we all were at
A
one
lot.
time. Yeah.
I think stupid sometimes is part of growing up, so.
Yes, that frontal cortex isn't fully developed.
Well, sometimes stupid can be fun too.
Developed really late, I think.
So
Julie, I
Mary,
just have to say, I love your poem again. I think
Yeah.
I said it before, but it's so much about awareness, being
Yes.
in that moment. It's so good.
Well, I started out, it was supposed to be funny, but that's what it turned into, so.
Yeah, it's very powerful.
Beautiful.
Gorgeous. Guys, do you mind too, if we start to pull some of these, Cece, can you pull that? We really want to begin to share as much as possible in our emails, in our blog posts that we're hopefully will be doing more of. Mary, you need to bring your poetry on. Like all of this is the other aspect that we really want the community to know about you, and really also Katerina, to be able to share the art that you're making. Make these little videos for us, please.
I will.
so when you
And-
said it was supposed to be funny, it reminded me when the healings that way first started, and I had a woman working for us who really was, she was just working for the chiropractic office, just for the dollar, basically. And she was seeing these healings, but she wasn't really paying much attention to them. She was an actor, and that was all that was important to her next audition and everything. But she decided to write something to make fun of the healings. And I didn't know. I mean, all I know is that she wrote this beautiful song. She said, it is a beautiful song, but now I have to tell you, I wrote it to make fun of it because it sounded so ridiculous. The more I tried to make fun of it, the more I realized how beautiful it was. And it came out a song she didn't want to.
Listen, the title of it is cute and funny.
Yeah.
Hoe and onions. I thought it was going to be comical, and actually, you're right. When you start out with hoe in hand, I toil, I work hard,
Growing this
and
soil.
soil.
And of course, for the Jewish listeners, we hear, thank God I didn't become a moil, which for the rest flips off a little worse than some babies.
The irony of this poem is that Julie is digging so she can plant onions, and she keeps coming across onions that were there before.
Well, really, it was
When she
about
first moved in,
onions.
yeah.
No, but what it was really was is that I kept coming across onions that were already there. But in the poem, I'm wanting to plant them, yes, because I had to make it into a poem somehow.
It's
Well,
great.
Yeah.
Great.
That was that picture. I had Lexi, you remember the photograph I put up of me?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, in
Yeah.
hand. That
Yes.
was
Yeah.
where that came
And I
from.
send that over to Dr. Eric and Jillian. That was sometime back.
Yeah, that was back when we first
Right.
met. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, you guys could really do a beautiful love of friendship sharing hour where whoever's attending, that's what you're doing. You're sharing art, you're talking about where this was inspired from, you're doing your poetry, Chelsea, you could do such a beautiful piece on this whole scenario that you're threading with mother and grandpa. I mean, each of you really, I think, what a wonderful invitation to invite the RHE into for an hour. I mean, how beautiful. Yeah.
Another thing that's beautiful is Lexi, how great it is that you're supporting and promoting what's going on with Barbara and Mary, and with
Oh,
some of those pictures.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. Yes. We're so grateful.
And everybody is supporting us.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Lexi is, of course, she's like the seminal person she's like the prime mover.
The cheerleader.
Yeah.
Can I
Thank
just-
you.
I just want to insert something I forgot I wanted to say to Dr. Eric and Jillian is that
Yeah.
I'm reading the book. I'm almost finished with it. I love it. Thank you so much for sending me the book and your beautiful words. And when I had them decoded, and thank you. That's all I wanted to say.
Is it
Yeah.
hard to read? Is that what you're saying?
What's that?
Is the book difficult to read? Is that what you're saying?
No,
No, you,
What you wrote. Writing.
The message on the front.
Oh, my writing. Oh,
You know
can't-
what?
you're writing.
He wrote down, he made a copy, and I said, you make a copy so that if anybody couldn't read it, he can read it to you.
I have pictures of
Yes.
them, so I can.
Oh,
read.
good.
Now, by the way, for those of you who are outside of the US, they will be coming.
Yes.
When I took them originally to FedEx or UPS, they wanted like $200+ a book to get outside the US,
Oh,
even
gosh.
just to Canada. So I
Wow.
went to the post office. I found a way to do it, but they've given me a complicated form I have to fill out for each book and then to address and come back. So we brought the forms home last night. I'll get them filled out and then I'll bring them back to the post office and send them to you.
Oh my gosh, it's so
Great.
complicated.
It really was. It really was.
Even
You
just
couldn't even
getting it
send
to
them
us is a
around
work of
on
love.
FedEx anymore.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're so glad everything is coming beautifully. Barbara, Mary, do you want to share anything about that or individually about you?
Well, it looks
Uh,
like the gathering is coming together. We have a register. Yes, and we have Jackie, I think is going to be coming.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
and-
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Barb and I are going to do a little video today, like a save the date kind of thing.
Good.
Right.
So-
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we will definitely promote it as well. I mean, I think you guys have to know it's the beginning of the year and this is in May.
That's right.
And I think what you'll end up seeing is starting in February, the registrations will really start to happen.
Because right now, a lot of
Right.
people are, thinking about the money they spent for Christmas.
I
Right.
think too, well, this is very affordable. Maybe we'll
Very.
also do a little thing where we do a little chat with you guys about the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
And then we can
That's a
put,
good idea.
we can put that out there as well in an email when we promote it.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it probably would be a good idea just for us to get together and kick around some ideas of some themes that you want to cover on the Zoom when you'll be meeting with us in the mornings.
We have plenty of time for that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know there's plenty of time.
And then some of it we may just sort of wait to see how the flow is going. And then you guys kind of say,
Yeah.
let's focus here, because this would be really useful for the hour together or whatever.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think for now, let's have you guys just be expressing this love of sharing so that people who are meant to come and be a part of this,
Mhm.
weekend with you really feel compelled to show up.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Cacophony is going to be a lot of growth,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it may be a lot
Right.
of comfort, and it may be a lot of healing for people that don't even know.
Oh, I'm sure.
Always
Yeah.
going to be a lot of that no one anticipates.
Right. Yeah.
And you're
Yeah.
going to be the ones who hate to leave most at the end. We're all like me. It's very
Yeah.
difficult for me to leave the present weekend to move on to the next one, and then very exciting to start the next one.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right now, we're really still kind of caught up in some of the logistical details but yeah, I think it's exciting. It's starting to really feel more and more real. And I realized yesterday it's time for me to kind of start getting a little elevator speech together. I don't want it to sound canned, but just kind of have something to say. And I'm so grateful that you guys are going to be joining us and really supporting us. And that will be part of the promotion. So, but yeah, it's exciting. It's very exciting.
Yes, it is.
Uh,
And I really hope these will spring up in other regions.
Well,
yes.
let's
That's
hope that's
Yeah.
what this is about. And I know Rob is very open in the future to helping to support some of these regional conversations. And
Oh,
listen,
great.
this
Yeah.
is the kind of opportunity where eventually when people, if they never go to a training program or they decide to go to a training program, these are wonderful opportunities for them to immerse and be a part of exactly what you're all experiencing what we're all experiencing. So it is
Right.
community. It is our Reconnected
Yeah.
Life community starting to spring. And I like it that it's called regional. Regional is
Yeah.
really a very local, warm feeling, you know?
Right.
Maybe
Yeah.
we'll have one in Boise.
Yeah,
Would love to go to Idaho.
yeah,
Ah,
yeah. We're
Yeah,
doing Old
I-
County Poor Farm, but I think there's a prison in Boise we can use, the old prison.
Oh, you know, in West Virginia, there's a very well-known haunted prison that is open now, I think, for
There's
tourists.
even a whole TV show
What-
about haunted
Prison.
prisons.
What prison?
In West
Haunted.
Virginia, I can't remember the name of it, but it's very well known in West Virginia, northern West Virginia. That's kind of
Right.
a little cottage industry for the town now. So
Edgefield, where
haunted.
we're going to be, is on the list of the top 10 haunted hotels in the US.
Who's
Yeah.
that? Cat.
Well,
So I
let's
expect we'll have some visitors.
get through this one and we'll see where it all blooms from there.
Yeah.
Where are we headed here?
So Cease, what's going on with you? Jillian, we should
No,
get,
we're good.
you're good? Okay, Cease, go ahead.
Oh, well, I got together with some wonderful friends that I used to work with 25 years ago, 27 years ago, actually. I ran into a friend a few years ago, and we kept in touch, and so they got a house recently, and they had a New Year's Eve party, and it was just so much fun. I used to work at Universal Studios as a tour guide, and so they had a bunch of tour guides, which are very lively, very chatty, wonderful people. And so we had a gathering for New Year's Eve. It was great, so much fun. I was there till 2 a.m, which I never do anymore, but I did because I didn't want to leave. They were so much fun. But anyway, so yeah, that was a great time. And I've just been on a high ever since, and I was sharing this work with everybody, and so I was talking, and so it was interesting that on what is this, Thursday? So Monday, Tuesday, Monday. I got a call from somebody who was interested in a distance session, so we did it that night. And so then they called me on Tuesday and they said, we want to do it again. So we did it again Tuesday. And then she called me yesterday and said, we want to do it again. So we did 3 in a row. And it was so interesting because last night, as I was doing the session, I stood and I gazed and I barely moved at all. Sometimes my hands would move on their own, but barely. I was standing and gazing the whole time. And it was so amazing and so powerful. And so last night I had a dream, and I was on the table receiving my session, and I was having these registers and I was watching myself, and it was like, but it was really interesting because I saw my eyes were half open, and the person that was me, that was not me, said, oh, I see you like to be watching. They moved out of my eye line so that they wouldn't be seen, but I was like still watching everything, and I was trying to let them know I'm not trying to open my eyes, but they're opening. I was like, but it was interesting, but I was receiving my session from last night, and it was really, really, really very cool. And I would like to incorporate something like that in the gathering. So it would be
What beautiful metaphor. I'm not trying to open my eyes, but they're opening. Really, when we're not trying to open our eyes is when they're opening. And really beyond that, when we're not trying is when we recognize what always is. Our eyes are always open.
Yeah.
We confuse our eyes with our eyelids.
Yeah. So it was really very fun.
How very, very beautiful, Cease. What a beautiful share. And where are they all living in LA still? Obviously.
No, they're well, some of them are, because they're tour guides, so some of them stayed in the industry and they're executive producers for this and that or whatever, so they're still around, but it was really, really cool. So some of them are still in LA, but most of them have moved out and they were just back to visit. So
Cool.
I'm so
Nice.
glad.
That's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Cecilia,
yeah.
I wanted just to say to you, and I can't believe I remembered, but I did. I went on to the Reconnection and I listened to the video you made. Do you know what I'm talking
Yes,
about?
yes,
It
yes.
was so wonderful. I don't know, there was just
Yeah.
the way you said everything, and it was just, it's like, I want to go back and watch it again. You did such a beautiful job.
Thank you.
That's all I wanted to say.
More coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
You know, we
Yeah.
may have mentioned that Jillian and I have been watching this series, The Chosen, which is really excellent. But I noticed Chosen. But I noticed in particular on a scene, because I'd fallen asleep towards the end of an episode and I watched it again and I saw the scene again, where Jesus was really just healing a leper, and just he was so present, and there was no time involved. And part of the gift of seeing that is it reminded me of where I was in facilitating the healings, when it was simply the presence and the observations. And spending so much time in teaching, my mind has been thinking. And I know that it's presence and healing, but I also think about it in the healing of how to share this. And I need to not even bring that thought in of how to share that it's presence, which I'm doing with you right now, sharing that it's presence. But that's really what it has always been, presence. And it's seeing that has allowed me to cognize what I've been recognizing. In other words, to be in the knowingness of it again, instead of thinking about it, which has been recognizing it. And the more I think, the more, even though you think it's not, it is compressing. And the more we let go of the thinking about it, and we love, recognition, that's lovely, but it's the doing it every time we do it again and again and again, it compresses. And in the just the cognition, the cognizing of it, it's simply what we want to call recognition, but it's not. It's without the it's the receiving of that awareness. I can't even find the right words to describe it yet, but
I think I know what you're talking about, though, because I was just sitting there thinking about this, about the event, and it's like I can't continue to just sit there and get detail oriented. I need to step back and just more allow it to unfold and allow it to happen and be with it versus try to plan it.
Right.
And that almost seems like
and see it, and that's part of what I was before. I was thinking about it, I was seeing it. I'm going, how did I know that was going to move? I saw that change before it changed, but so somehow there was a seeing that wasn't necessarily of the eyes.
Would that be a definition of getting out of the way, or getting out of your way to stepping back?
But the problem is when we use those phrases that we've heard 8 million times, they're dull. Step out of the way. Oh, I know what that means. And we go on, really explore, take a step back.
Well, it's the words.
So when we repeat the words and the phrases that other people have been repeating for, decades, it doesn't have that same feel. That's part of why I always look to find new words to express it with, because it's the finding of the words. It's not the words, it's the finding of the words that is the person, that is the vision, the seer.
That's great. Beautiful.
Is that thunder?
This is my thunder. This is my little lymphoma thunder. Yes.
She's talking a lot.
She does. Precious.
Is Justin with us?
Yes.
Oh, hi, Justin.
Hi, it's been a little while since I've been on one of these calls.
I know. Happy New Year to you.
Oh, thank you. Same to you. It was I don't know. I don't do much for New Year's. I don't think about really. It doesn't mean a whole lot to me. The new year is kind of just the next moment, the new moment. So that's how I'm
It's a continuation, right?
Yeah, and I kind of recognized earlier today actually that everything is always moving, and so the idea of setting a resolution to get to a certain point to fulfill an objective really just kind of, it's like an interruption in that movement. It's more like you want to have the resilience to move through those objectives and dissolve the barriers that are obscuring that fulfillment of them. So
Definitely. Hey, Cece, will you put the T.S. Eliot poem in there for
Oh,
Justin?
sure. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, it sort of recapitulates what you just expressed. It's great. I am going to have to step away.
Right.
Love
what
you
I said, but I'm
guys.
here.
Yeah,
Love
you're-
you too.
love you so
Bye,
much. Thank you
Jillian.
for all these shares today, and just, oh my God.
Yeah, thanks.
So we're so glad you found a new office space, Justin. That's really wonderful. Heard about that.
yeah, I don't know, one of my clients told them about it and they reached out to me. And at first I just kind of resisted because, I just moved in. It's still like a new business. It's not even a year. And so
Mhm.
I was just like, I don't want to move and go through all that stuff again. But then, when I got there, I kind of picked up a bit more on the environment. And I never usually do that. People will say they'll walk in and they'll feel, oh, I feel this energy or that energy. I don't really do that so much, but when I was in there, it really just kind of felt lighter, and I just noticed it. I don't really pay much. I don't feel like it has a lot of significance sometimes, but there it just kind of felt lighter. And so the room, beautiful, but it's kind of a smaller clinic, less kind of cutthroat than a gym with trainers that are just kind of, they're like mercenaries for each other trying to get their own clients. But
Hmm.
the room was significantly bigger, busy area, very busy. Rent is probably a little bit more accommodating. Everyone there is holistic, so they refer people to each other too. And the other place, I didn't really notice how kind of organized it was in that compartmentalized way at the gym until I realized how connected everything was at this place. It just kind of, it felt normal until I felt what this place felt like. Then the other place felt abnormal.
Mhm. It's how you allow yourself to feel. It's not the place. It's not the energy in the place. It's not the space. I mean, the space that you're in is the same space before the walls were built around it, and continues to be the same space in it, and continues to be the same space if the walls get knocked down, and continues to be the same space when the next building happens, if it happens. It's how you allow yourself to feel in it. And it's not the space that does that. It may be your perception of, gee, I feel much better with these high ceilings and this open wall. Great, that's you. It's not the space. It's always you. So allow yourself to know that knowingness, that is you. You have the choice to take with you from place to place, to space, because it's only you.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Well, a felt sense, so to speak.
A felt sense. Perfect.
Yeah, because I just, everything else kind of, I don't know, it just seemed like everything else kind of lined up, with the rent, the room size, everything, but it's just like icing on top of it. Like, oh, that's kind of nice to have this and this and that. But I don't know, it just felt right, once I had, family where, think about that again instead of just like dismissing it. And so, rather just kind of feeling it and doing a lot of heart work, heart brain harmony, asking my heart about it, everything just kind of felt right. And so, yeah, it's I don't want to, I'm hesitant to say it's something to look forward to because, then it's conditional on the exact experience. Why can't I look forward to all these experiences? But it is something that I feel is going to actually be supportive of where I'm at. And once I get past all the administrative nonsense with licensing, insurance, and all that, like I just kind of did, then yeah, just kind of move forward with it. And I feel closer to my family now with holidays
Good.
over and everything. So
And the concept of looking forward to it in a way says it's not now.
Mhm.
You can recognize that it is now, then, and be excited about it being in the overall, the larger now, you know, then more keeps coming, but it's now instead of not yet. That makes sense?
Yeah, yeah, like the kind of how all of our power is in that now to make a change or to choose in the now, and then you just kind of, that future becomes the now, or it was always the now, you're
A
experiencing,
larger
right?
now.
Right. And you don't want to do that because now. Okay. Don't laugh, it only encourages me. Cool. Well, thank you for sharing that now. But Lexi, we didn't get to hear from you.
Yes, I
By the way, I'm only disappearing for a second to put this plug into Jillian's computer.
okay,
Need the electrical.
okay.
I'm here.
Well, I have I think I've told you that we have our new roof and our new gutters, which is wonderful. It happened right before the big snowstorm started. And we're hopeful that the rest of the house can be repaired. And then I have a little kitty here who has lymphoma and has been very needy. And there'll be a time where we're going to need to go ahead and put her down. And so that's something that's difficult. And Maximus is he has been on the tramadol and he's weaned off of the tramadol, and the doctors that he's been seeing, the long-term pain doctors, have told him that they can give him the injections with the corticosteroids, or they can cut the nerve endings that are causing his back pain. And I looked at him and I said, "Congratulations, honey. You have just seen how far the medical system can take you. And now it's time to try alternative treatment." And he's had alternative treatments from chiropractors and acupuncturists and Rolfers and people before, after the accident, when, you know, the insurance was available to really cover a lot of that. And then his grandfather persuaded him that he didn't need any of that. So he decided that he wasn't going to do any more anything. And then after his grandparents were killed, he decided that he is going to listen to me after all and start seeing chiropractors and some of these other alternatives again. And the problem came when he was 17. He was told, "You have a permanent brain injury and the permanent back problem." And, you know, I was trying to explain to him the weight of those words, that that's not really what it means. But he heard those words and he's having a very difficult time understanding things can heal. They don't need to.
Let's pause here for a second. Two things. One, when you refer to chiropractic or acupuncture or something else as alternative, you start to reinforce what Maximus heard, because you're saying it's alternative, then you're saying it's alternative to what? To medicine. You're saying medicine is not an alternative. Yes, it is. Medicine is an alternative to chiropractic, and chiropractic is an alternative to acupuncture, and this is an alternative. Everything is an alternative, or nothing is. So by referring to everything except medicine as an alternative, then you're placing medicine as the way. And of course, then Maximus listened to what his medical doctor said, because the words are positioning that. Ultimately, when medicine says something is permanent, help Maximus understand that it doesn't mean it's permanent. It's saying there's nothing that medicine has yet to discover or may discover that can help it. There are many other things that are available. So as long as Maximus locks into everything other than medicine as alternative, he'll listen to medicine. And then he'll feel that when something is permanent, if medicine says it, it must be. And there are so many different things. I remember the things that medicine knew in the 60s, that in the 70s, medicine found something else. When I was in school for chiropractic, medicine knew that nerve tissue did not regenerate. And then medicine knew that nerves in the brain might regenerate, but the brain didn't regenerate. Then medicine knew that the brain regenerated. In other words, medicine never knew. Medicine never knew. Science doesn't prove anything. We say, oh, we have scientific proof. No, you don't. The most you have is scientific evidence. Because if there's anything that can be disproven, then it was never proven in the first place. So I'm going on this, and I know I've touched it before, but I want us to realize, what are we inadvertently communicating to our children when we use certain words? Oh yeah, all those other things are alternative, but not medicine. So when medicine says it, then it must be. I think it's important that we share these perspectives with our kids to give them an understanding that they've got so much more room and potential to grow and change and release those things that they don't need to carry on in life. And part of that, I think, is our responsibility to say, what am I saying? And how can I say it differently?
Thank you. Thank you. And there's in the chat, there's a lot of good information. Justin was saying holistic or traditional. And
Great. I just want to share a little story because it just came to me when you guys were talking about this, and I agree completely with everything you've just said. But I went back to the movie, I think it's Alive, about the airplane that came down and crashed in the mountains in the snow.
yes.
And there were search planes, whatever, looking for them, and they heard over the radio that, you know, the last search party, they're going to look one more time, and they couldn't find him. And then they saw the plane going away or whatever, and then everybody's like depressed. It's like, oh no, they didn't find us. But one guy said, no, this is good. This is a good thing, because now it means we're going to fix ourselves. We're going to find a way out ourselves. So he could also have that attitude. It's like, okay, so that's what you say, but that just means I get to find a new way of going forward. And so you can have a whole different attitude with the same information, and you get to choose. That's my thing on it. That's what I wanted to share.
You get to choose.
You get to choose.
Cecilia, you get to choose. It's just sometimes how we view people who say things. We allow them to take away our potential and our right to choose. We forget that we get to choose.
Right.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Eric. Yes, it makes a big difference, the words that I use. But I have been using alternative. He knows about reconnective healing. I mean, he's making the posts and he's making the banners and so much of that information.
He's receiving his frequency.
But as Cecilia said, you know, you get to choose and express this so beautifully too. And I know I read that he's thinking about, you know, raw thing, and he's thinking about doing other things. And you know that we talk about Feldenkrais and things. Let's find another way. And I know there's the alternative, and then there's the words, I forget the combining thing. There's integrative, and there's lots of different words. We just want to be careful that the word that we choose doesn't position one as an authority, because that's what happened when one became the authority.
Yeah.
Yeah. Leave it with the choice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We have a choice.
So,
And that's where he's at now.
uh-huh.
So. And he's
Very
also doing the work with the banners and the posts and the work that Anna has him doing. And so he hears from you because he's I walked in and I saw your picture, Dr. Eric, on his computer. And it's part of the work that Anna had sent him to do. So he's hearing your words and the words are being repeated to him over and over, you know, as he moves the words into the comments that he types. So I'm just saying that he's getting the message. He's getting the message.
good. And then we change our words as we get more of the message in different ways.
Yes. Yes. But that to me is a blessing from that perspective, that he's receiving it directly in that way. So that's where he is now, you know, at the age of 25. He's going to be 26 on the 17th. So that says he's happy about that. But he really loves the editing. So.
And it's going to expand on us. Got some great ideas and projects, and we'll see kind of where we go this year. You guys start creating to these aspects of your sharing. I really would love a friendship evening that we do. We could do a Facebook Live where you guys really invite people in to just share the inspiration that's moving through you. Art, poetry, music, story, whatever it may be.
Cooking.
A
Yeah.
meditation. Yeah. Okay. All right. We have
We do
3 minutes. So love you. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love you too.
Beautiful gathering. Enjoy.
Yeah. Always
getting
nice
a bunch
to
of snow here today.
enjoy.
Goodbye for everyone.
Oh, yeah. It's always good to be
Bye.
to chat
Thank
with you guys.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much.
But
Bye-bye.
Bye.